Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana. Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana. Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana. Jai Satchinandana, Gaura Hari. Jai Satchinandana, Gaura Hari. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath, Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadrama. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotar Hatashi Shrimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charana-ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotar Hatashi Shrimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai Shri Gauranitai ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtapraya Shabadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24. Text 1. Please repeat. Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim Evam Nirvedavadinim Evam Manor Duhitaram Munihi Manor Duhitaram Munihi Dayalu Shalinim Aha Dayalu Shalini Maha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim Evam Manor Duhitaram Munihi Dayalu Shalini Maha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim Evam Manor Duhitaram Munihi Dayalu Shalini Maha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim Evam Manor Duhitaram Munihi Dayalu Shalini Maha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim Evam Manor Duhitaram Munihi Dayalu Shalini Maha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran. Word to word translation. Maitreya, the great sage Maitreya, Uvacha said, Nirvedavadinim, who was speaking words full of renunciation. Evam, thus. Manoho Swayambhuva Manu Duhitaram, to the daughter Munihi, the sage Kadama, Dayaluhu, merciful, Shalini, who was worthy of praise. Aha replied, Shukla, by Lord Vishnu, Abhivyahritam, what was said. Smaran, recalling. Translation by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows to Swayambhuva Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devahuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation. There is no purport, so I'll continue reading till 3. Second verse is a very short purport. Rishir uvacha ma kido rajaputritam atmanam prati anindite bhagavamste ksharo garbam adurat samprapatyate. Translation. The sage said, "Do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son." Purport. Kadama Muni encouraged his wife not to be sorry, thinking herself unfortunate, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his incarnation, was going to come from her body. Text 3. Dritavritasi badramte damena niyamena cha tapo dravina danaischa shraddaya cheshwaram bhaja. Translation. You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity. Purport. In order to spiritually advance or to achieve the mercy of the Lord, one must be self-controlled in the following manner. He must be restrained in sense gratification and must follow the rules and regulations of religious principles. Without austerity and penance, and without sacrificing one's riches, one cannot achieve the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Kadama Muni advised his wife, "You have to factually engage in the devotional service with austerity and penance, following the religious principles and giving charity. Then the Supreme Lord will be pleased with you, and he will come as your son." Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Kam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramanandamadavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Translation again. Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kadama replied as follows to Swayambhuva Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devahuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation. Chapter title, Renunciation of Kadama Muni. Hare Krishna. So this verse and the next two verses talks about the sage Kadama assuring Mother Devahuti that she is indeed on a right path and is about to meet with success. Just to set some context about this particular verse, if you look at the previous chapter's final verses. So Kadama Muni and Devahuti, they enjoyed celestial pleasures for so many years. Kadama Muni was about to leave. He has already given Mother Devahuti 9 daughters. So when he was about to leave, his family to take the role of a sannyasi, as you will see in the following verses. Mother Devahuti, she laments. Why is she lamenting? Mother Devahuti's position is very exalted. How can we understand? If you look at who her father is, who is her father? Swayambhuva Manu, one of the 12 Mahajanas. Who is her husband? None other than sage Kardama Muni. To understand the position of Kardama, if you go back a couple of chapters earlier, you will see how dedicatedly and in a self-controlled way he was carrying out his devotional service. So much so, one fine day, the Supreme Lord Vishnu himself came in front. And looking at the amount of austerities which Kardama was going through, Lord Vishnu's heart was filled with compassion, and that got expressed as tears. Have you ever come across that experience? Usually when we come in front of the Lord, we cry, correct? If somebody has some problem. Definitely not cries of ecstasy. Can you imagine how much austerity he must have gone through? That Vishnu, first of all, he is coming from Vaikunta to appear in front of him. Looking at his undivided devotional service, his heart overcome with compassion, he is shedding tears. Bindu, that's how Bindu Sarovar came to be. Bindu Sarovar is the name of a lake that was formed by river Saraswati, meandering around. But that whole body of water, because it was blessed with a few drops of Lord Vishnu's tears, it came to be known as Bindu Sarovar. And if you read the earlier chapters, you will see what benefit one gets by taking a dip. One gets Krishna Prema immediately. So this is the position of Kardama. So her father is Swayambhuva Manu, direct son. His mother, or her mother, rather. Her father is Swayambhuva Manu. Her mother is Shatarupa, again, coming from Brahma. Her grandfather is Lord Brahma himself. And if you look at her brothers, you will see Uttanapada Swayambhuva Manu, or rather Priyavrata, sorry. Priyavrata's glorious activities and qualities, you will see them described in 5th canto. And Uttanapada's son is the famous Dhruva Maharaj. So if you look at her family lineage, this is the exalted position she comes from. And her son is going to be none other than the Supreme Lord himself. How can such a person feel that they have wasted their life? But this is what she is feeling. If you read the previous verse, she says, "My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation." Normally, to have such feelings is natural. Sometimes you will think, I'll go to the holy place, I'll go to a dham, and you'll have all the plan in your mind. I'll wake up early, I'll chant so many rounds, I'll go take association of devotees, I'll go here, I'll go roll in the ground, rubbing my body with the dust of Vrindavan. And then when we actually go there, what happens? We may have a bout of, stomachache. We can't even eat, we can't even open our eyes. Reality always strikes, and we feel guilty. I didn't make good use of the opportunity that was given to me. So here Mother Devahuti is, despite having performed such wonderful devotional service, be it in her father's home or later after being married to Kardama, still out of her humility she is feeling, having obtained your association which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. Let's take a moment and think it to ourselves. Are we taking good advantage of the opportunity that is given to us to practice Krishna consciousness? We come every day in front of Shri Radha Gopinath. Are we offering heartfelt prayers? Are we expressing our words of gratitude to Shri Radha Gopinath? Are we feeling grateful to be in the presence of Srimati Tulsi Maharani? Are we in a position to express our serious and sincere gratitude to Sri Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra Maharani? Yesterday I was hearing Amarendra Prabhu's class and he was saying one point that he heard from one of the Prabhus saying, normally when a patient is, or when a person is sick rather, they would go to the doctor. But the patient, when he's really, really sick, instead of the patient going and visiting the doctor, doctor will come visiting the patient, correct? Because the patient is so weak. They can't even come out of their bed, they can't even move. In such weak condition, there'll be no other way but for the doctor to go and visit the patient. Jagannath is like that, he was saying. In Kali Yuga especially, we are so sick and so unfortunate that not everyone feels like, let me at least go home. In Vedic days, you will come across even thieves will visit the temple. Conditioning is one thing, they will still be stealing, but they'll still go and visit the temple at least. In Kali Yuga, unfortunately, even the normal pious people, they are very hard to see in temple. So this is the position of Jagannath, showing extreme compassion. He's coming and giving out his mercy. So are we really expressing our gratitude? When we come in front of Gaur Nitai, are we taking full advantage, expressing our appreciation, our gratitude, our humility, and our conviction in their mission, assuring the Lord? Prabhupada says, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laments, Haridas Thakur assures the Lord, don't worry my Lord, we will spread the mission. So that's the mood with which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here, to deliver each and every fallen conditioned soul. So it's natural when we don't go through, or when we are in a position wherein we can achieve so much and we end up achieving so less. It's natural for us to lament. So here, Mother Devahuti, despite having achieved so much, she is still expressing her lamentation. So when she expresses those words that she had wasted the association of Kardama, because Kardama is about to leave home to take the path of a sannyasa. When he is about to leave, now she is expressing words of lamentation, saying, I have wasted. But Kardama knew all too well about the exalted position of Mother Devahuti. How does he know? Again, if you recall, earlier when Vishnu had appeared in front of Kardama, Kardama Muni glorifies Vishnu. And he tells Vishnu, my Lord, this is how I plan to offer a devotional service to you. If you so desire, you can bless me with the suitable wife with whom I can continue to perform devotional service to you. Vishnu smiles and he says, knowing your desire in heart, even before you asking, I have already arranged for it. And he says, soon Swayambhuva Manu will come with this daughter, Devahuti, who's decorated with all noble qualities. You can accept her as your wife. And at that point, Vishnu also says, foretelling about Kardama's future, that you will continue to lead Grahastha life, you will beget 9 daughters within the womb of Mother Devahuti, and then I myself will come and appear as her son. So Kardama Muni knew about the appearance of the Supreme Lord. So that's the context of today's verse, recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows to Swayambhuva Manu's praiseworthy daughter. It's amazing how Shukadeva Goswami describes about the position of Mother Devahuti. Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows to Swayambhuva Manu's praiseworthy daughter, Devahuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation. The sage said, "Do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy." Why? Supreme Lord doesn't appear in the womb of anyone and everyone. In order for Supreme Lord to be born in a family, they must have done, they should have done lot of undivided, unmotivated devotional service. When Prabhupada explains about how the Gopas, they had the opportunity to play with Krishna, Krita Punya Punja, Prabhupada would often say that. Not only for one life, many, many lives they have offered devotional service to the Supreme Lord, because of which the Supreme Lord is reciprocating with them by allowing them to play with him. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son. Vishnu, when he had told Kardama, he had also told him, after appearing as his son, what will he do? He tells at that point also, if you go back a couple of chapters and you read that, you will see. There he says, appearing as your son from within the womb of Mother Devahuti, I will then propound the philosophy of Sankhya, yoga, and preach unalloyed, unmotivated devotional service to the whole world. So now here, because she is expressing lamentation that I have squandered this opportunity, I could have been liberated being in your association, but I didn't make full use of that. So Kardama Muni is assuring, don't worry, our son will soon come. Our son is going to be none other than the Supreme Lord, and he will come and he will give you all the knowledge needed. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son. Purport, Kardama Muni encouraged his wife not to be sorry, thinking herself unfortunate because the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his incarnation, which is Lord Kapiladev, was going to come from her body. Text 3. You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. So that's the first lesson. Dhrita vritasi badram te. Prabhupada would say, as followers of Krishna consciousness, we also take sacred vows. We abstain from the 4 regulative principles: intoxication, gambling, illicit sex, meat eating. And we also positively engage in chanting the holy name of the Lord, as well as doing devotional service. So here you have undertaken sacred vows, God will bless you. If we undertake the vow that is actually recommended by the parampara, then we can also be assured that the Supreme Lord will bless us. Many times we chant, we practice Krishna consciousness, and we always feel that we are doing something wrong. How many of you feel that way? Because when we are chanting, we are supposed to feel ecstasy, but when we chant, we feel asleep. It is said, even if you continuously keep on chanting, you do. Sometimes you may even, okay, today is Nirjala Ekadashi, I'll continuously do. You will continuously do, maximum you may feel is just the throat pain, correct? Nothing much. And we may be thinking, what's happening? Something I'm doing wrong. Many times we may not be doing things wrong, we may just be doing things very slow. And sometimes when the results are coming very slow, it will feel as if nothing is happening. But in order to speeden it up, what should we do? We'll read the instructions of Kardama to Mother Devahuti. You have undertaken sacred vows, God will bless you. So she comes with such an exceptional background. Being daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, she had been performing devotional service. Being a princess, and then later on she took a very humble position as the wife of Kardama Muni, serving him as a very dedicated maidservant, very, very devotedly. So she had undertaken sacred vows, and she is also offering. Prabhupada says when the husband is like Kardama Muni, and if the wife serves Kardama Muni, she will also take the same benefit as the husband. But terms and conditions apply. Husband has to be like Kardama Muni. Lal Govinda Prabhu was actually saying in one class, I was hearing, normally people say women has to be like Sita. He said, yeah, but men has to be like Lord Ram also. If men are like Ravana, then they are fit to be, Prabhupada writes, they are fit to be given up. So I was mentioning earlier, it's very easy to take the extreme stance, citing how women are supposed to be. When as men, one is actually wanting to actually follow the Vedic standards. So here we have to clearly understand the position of Kardama Muni, the instruction which he is giving to Mother Devahuti. You have undertaken sacred vows, God will bless you. If we undertake a sacred vow, and if we practice Krishna consciousness, but the practice of Krishna consciousness has to be undivided. Kechit kevalaya bhaktiya, Vasudeva parayanaha, aham dunvanti, katsneya, niharameva bhaskara. Kechit Krishna. Kechit kevalaya bhaktiya. Very important. Bhakti, whenever you come across any place where bhakti is glorified, search in the same verse for another word that will qualify that bhakti. Kechit kevalaya bhakti means undivided bhakti. If you read the translation, which Prabhupada actually puts, this is in 6th canto, preluding Ajamila's pastime. If one performs undivided, unmotivated devotional service. Undivided means not part-time. I'll do morning 6 to 6:30 only, or 6 to 6:15 only. I'll be a devotee. Other times, I'll just do whatever I like. That's not undivided devotional service. We may be staying in our home, we may be working outside, we may be dealing with karmis, doesn't matter. But our position as a devotee should not change. I was speaking to a devotee who is in a dham, in a South Indian place. Yesterday, he called me. And I asked him, how is it going? He said, everything is good, but finding a place to take prasad with no onion and garlic is very difficult in a dham. And I remember for this particular dham, there was a news about 15, 16 years ago. I remember at that time I heard in one class, one devotee told that because devotees, they were distributing books, they preached. The temple board accepted that we won't be serving onion and garlic, and it came in the news that ISKCON devotees have actually advised this particular temple to not do, and they have accepted. Not only that, they have actually said we will soon pass a decree to ban onion and garlic in this whole dham. But then Kali Yuga, just like how the dirt, last night I was speaking to Mike Prabhu. No matter how much you clean, sometimes you clean and then you look back, dirt would have already seeped in, and you think did I clean that place or not? Dirt is also like Maya, it just comes in. That's why we have to keep on cleaning. But I want to take this opportunity to thank all the devotees, kids, for doing this cooperative effort to make the cleanliness standard of this temple better. Definitely things are improving. You can look around and you can observe. Couple of weeks ago, there were a group of kids, they were playing ball. I said, like, ball is banned in temple. Temple, you come to worship Krishna. If you want to play ball, you go to the park. Few days ago, I was walking in and I saw one of the kids telling to another kid who was not part of that group. Same advice. Ball, don't play. I will tell to Ghanashyam Prabhu, I'm like, I'm not coming this side. You can play in the park, not here. Then I did an about turn and I went through the kitchen. I don't want to enter into, kids' politics. But it's amazing. Kids are innocent. Whatever we train them, they will take. Kids don't listen. But kids do what we do. If the parents, if the adults, but especially parents, if they take up to Krishna consciousness, if they practice it sincerely, kids will follow. So we can see, just in like a couple of weeks, how much this temple looks different. So let's continue. Prabhupada says we can clean our way back to Godhead. We have to just keep on cleaning. So next time you see dirt, you understand that is Maya. Keep on cleaning. Prabhupada says management means to keep everything clean. That's all. That's a proper management. Because externally, whatever that we do, it will influence us. You walk in, and you see something half aside, immediately mind will go tap into that frequency. All right, I can relax here. Correct? When you go to work, everyone is working. I need to at least pretend to work. You come to the temple room, everyone is chanting. At least I should pretend to chant. But you go to your room, you see your bed, I was like, okay, I can relax a bit. Even with, you don't have a choice. Even without you thinking, your mind is already hooked into that frequency. That's why association matters. We should always be in the association of people who are very upbeat, who are very enthusiastic, confident, and they know what they are doing. So it's extremely important. You have undertaken serious vows, God will bless you. When we undertake vows, that is actually given to us by our previous acharyas, then we can be assured of success. In time, there may be difference, as Prabhupada would say. Some may attain success quicker, some may attain success later. Doesn't matter, as long as we are in the proper path. But if we don't want bumpy ride, if we really want your journey to be joyful, then bhakti has to be kechit kevalaya bhaktya. One life we are giving for Krishna, might as well give it fully. Why hold back something? Let's just try. That's the advice Prabhupada gave to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. You have given so many lives to Maya. Just give one life to Krishna. Just to see what's the loss. Even if nothing happens, anyway, there is many more lives left, correct? We are very worried that this is the only life. There is anyway many more lives, correct? If you think logically. Before coming to bhakti, we already had many lives. If we have to give up bhakti, we'll still have many more lives. Just one, give this side and see what happens. Just to see, like that Prabhupada says, taking massage. So that's what we need to do. Take sacred vows, but then be confident. Yes, process is slow. Reason why things feel slow and they are slow is because we are not giving undivided attention. We are not performing bhakti with full intensity. Tivrena bhakti yogena. We are not doing it. Then yes, inspiration will go wanting. Yes, it's very easy to feel up and down, to experience a bumpy ride. Who we associate with matters. And we should always ask ourselves, after speaking to this particular devotee, am I feeling enthused or am I feeling low? Low means don't turn in that direction for some time. Don't associate with that devotee. Look for other association. Whatever association we need, Krishna will provide us. In one place, Prabhupada is saying that many times people are very pious, but they turn towards the wrong direction and get exploited. There are a lot of pseudo-godmen who cheat people. So Prabhupada says, because they want to get cheated, Krishna is sending them cheating guru. They are only sending them cheaters. Why? Because they want some quick fix. They want something immediately. 2-minute noodles. So you get nothing like that in this world. Anything which you get quick, the quality will be below par, always. This is what our experience teaches us. So why should Krishna, who is the most precious, supreme object of love, why should he come to us cheap? Thank God Krishna is not here with us. We'll exploit. Correct? Are we qualified to really serve Krishna? No. If Krishna is with us as our personal friend and he says, what do you think we'll ask him? Whatever that is good for our sense gratification, and that will bind us back in this world. So Krishna is hiding. So it's not Krishna who doesn't want to come. It's our desires who is actually repelling him, pushing him away. So we need to take that responsibility. You have undertaken serious vows, God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control. Drita vritasi badram te damena niyamena cha. Does that ring a bell? Tapasa brahmacharyena, shamena cha damena cha. Tyagena satya sauchabhyam yamena niyamena va. Deha vag buddhijam dhira dharmanya shraddhayan vitaha. You will see that verse. So here, Shipanti agam mahadapi venugulmam imanalaha. Yeah, that's how that verse finishes. When Shukadeva Goswami describes about the hellish planets, Parikshit Maharaj, his heart filled with compassion, he hears the description of the whole Vedic cosmology in 5th canto. Towards the end of 5th canto, he hears the description of hellish planets and what punishment the rebellious conditioned souls are meted with in those planets and how they suffer. After hearing that, he becomes very sorry for them. So then he puts forth the question in the start of 6th canto, 6.1, you will see. He asks, these conditioned souls, they are going through so much difficulty, and they know very well. In a society, there is a person who is stealing something, and they get punished. They go through a lot of difficulty. Everyone sees it. But still, among the crowd, there is another guy who is still going around stealing. In other words, even seeing other people suffer is not stopping one from doing the same abominable activity. There may be people who will stay away. My God, if I do that, this is how I'm going to suffer, so I better stay away. But there are still people who get inspired also. You'll come across some people who are criminals. If you ask, what's your inspiration? They will cite one other criminal. Rather than the punishment that the former criminal had experienced, rather than that deterring the new criminal in making, it is actually inspiring them. When Yamaraj asks Yudhishthir Maharaj, what's the most wonderful thing in this world? Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti haimalyam seshas tavaram ichanti kim ascharya matapara. In this world, everyone is saying everyone else dying. But then every soul is thinking, I'm very confident, others may die, but I won't die, like that. This is the most kim ascharya matapara. What can be more wonderful than this? He is asking him. So same way, here Parikshit Maharaj is saying there are people who do something wrong and they get punished, but that alone is not enough to stop others from doing the same abominable thing. So this is the precarious position which jivas are in material world. How can they be saved? This is his question. Reason why Parikshit Maharaj puts forth that question is, oh my dear spiritual master, you have already described all the description of hellish planets. Somebody may read this. But then how many of them, just reading description of hellish planets, will stop committing sinful activities? Nobody will. Have you ever come across? Very rarely you will come across. Sometimes you ask devotees, what made you to come to Krishna consciousness? I remember only 2 instances when devotees told me, I came across this book, Second Chance. And they read about Ajamila. And that inspired them. You won't come across many who get inspired. Rare souls. So Parishit Maharaj here rightly asks, if this is the condition, even after seeing somebody getting punished, it's not stopping them from doing something bad. How can these people be shown any favor? And then as a first solution, Shukadeva Goswami tells Parishit Maharaj that they should do Prayaschitta. Prayaschitta means, he says, if in this world, if somebody has taken a birth, whatever sin they have committed in this life, if they can counteract it with some pious activity in this life itself, before death, he puts the terms and conditions there. Not after you die. After you die means the punishment is waiting. So if in this life, if you have done something wrong, and if we can do some prayaschitta in the very same life, then yeah, they can be relieved. And for that, Parishit Maharaj, he replies with this famous verse, Kvachin nivartate abhadrad, kvachi charati tatpunaha prayaschitam ahapartam manye kunjara sauchavat. What's the use of prayaschitta? It is exactly like manye, in my consideration, I consider kunjara sauchavat. Just like elephant, they go, take bath, come out, what do? They take the mud and they throw on themselves. So he says, what's the use? Prayaschitta is exactly like an elephant bath. It will go, as long as it's in water, it looks clean, but as soon as it comes out, throws on its own body. Cats are also given like that. Cats are generally considered muchi because they like just licking their body. They look very cute, but that's their nature. Even if you bath them, after finishing bath, they'll still lick their body. So elephant is like that. What is the use? Prayaschitta will be exactly like an elephant bath, which means somebody may do something sinful, they'll go do some prayaschitta, and guess what? They'll do again some other sinful activity. So he says this prayaschitta is of no use. Kvachin means sometimes. Kvachin nivartate abhadrad. Abhadrad means inauspicious things or bad sinful activities. Sometimes they stop. Nivartate means they stop sinful activities. Kvachin charati tatpuna. Sometimes they do. Tatpuna means again they do. What is the use? Prayaschitam atho apartam. Apartam means this prayaschitam is useless. He says this is not going to stop because you imagine in a life, sin, prayaschitta, sin, prayaschitta, sin, prayaschitta. When you die, if the prayaschitta hasn't counteracted, what will you do? Now the second problem with that is, he says, prayaschitta itself can introduce more karma. So it will only bind. So he rejects it. Then as a second solution, he gives this verse, tapasa brahmacharyena, shamena cha, damena cha. He lists out all these different parts. Tapasa, brahmacharyena, following vow of brahmacharya. Shamena cha. Shamena means controlling the mind. Damena means controlling the senses. Shama, Dama, you will come across. Shama means to control the mind. Mind control. Damena cha means to control the senses. In other words, one is gross senses and the other is subtle senses. Shamena cha means to control the subtle sense. Tyagena, one should sacrifice. Satya, one should be very truthful. Saucha bhyam, cleanliness coming again. Yamena niyamenava, one should do yama and niyama. Yama means things you are not supposed to do. In Krishna consciousness, what is the yama? The four regulative principles are the yama. The don'ts. No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. That's yamena. Niyamena means do's, things you are supposed to do. Chanting 16 rounds, following Ekadashi vows, doing devotional service, coming to the Lord, worshipping Tulsi Maharani, worshipping Sri Shri Radha Gopinath. Deha, Vak, Buddhi, Jamtira. Deha, Vak, Buddhi, body, mind and words one should engage. One should engage in devotional service. Dharmagya, one should be well versed in knowledge, studying the Shastras. Shraddhayanvita, one should be endowed with faith. Then if one does all of this, what happens? Shipanti agam mahadapi venugulmam ivanalaha. If one follows all this, same listing that's given here. Hence you should worship the Lord with great faith. Through sensory control, same. Religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity. If one does all of this, Shipanti agam mahadapi venugulmam ivanalaha, one can be temporarily relieved. When you read all of that, I remember first time I read, I went through, wow, so many things. And then finally Prabhupada translates, all of this will give temporary relief. Like that. After following all this, you get only temporary relief. Yes, temporarily, it will keep you in mode of goodness. And then after listing all this only, he then says this knockout verse. Kechit kevalya bhaktya vasudeva parayana. But if you want to permanently be relieved, permanently be immune from all these lower natures and lower temptations, then you have to do Kechit kevalya bhaktya. You have to do undivided, unmotivated devotional service. Only in such a position we'll be able to remain ecstatic, enthusiastic, happy all the time. Otherwise, all these qualities are good. Cleanliness is good. Speaking truth is good. All of this is good. But in addition to all of this, the purpose of rather doing all of this is to offer devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, it's like, preparing everything to make a big feast. You get all the ingredients, the chopped veggies, everything. So, Prabhu, what are you going to do? I don't know. Let's all go and sleep. You get all the ingredients, but you don't cook the feast. Real feast here is serving the Supreme Lord. So, that's the point he is saying. Controlling observances, austerities, and gifts. Krishna says in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Yagya dana tapa karma natyajyam karyam evatat yagyo dana tapaschaiva pavanani manishinaham. He says yagya, dana and tapa should never be given up. Even by those in sannyas order. What to speak of ordinary devotees like us. Yagya, sacrifice, dana, charity. Yagya, dana, tapa, austerity. Yagya, dana, tapa, karma, na tyajyam. Tyajyam means tyaktva sudhistejam, surepshitam, rajya lakshmi. Tyaktva means to give up. Na tyajyam means one should not give up. One should not give up what? Yagya, dana, tapa. Why? Pavanani manishinam. If one does yagya, one does dana, and one does tapa, they are capable of purifying even great souls. So if we want to remain aloof, we want to remain immune from the onslaughts of material nature, then we should keep doing yagya, dana and tapa. But then terms and conditions apply. Who should we give dana to? Not to anyone else. Dana means it has to be given only to people who are qualified. Bhiksha is different, dana is different in that sense. Generally, we think if we give something to the person who are needy, that is dana. But Vedic scriptures give us a more detailed understanding there. Dana means when you talk about charity, charity has to be given only to people who are qualified, not necessarily needy. Bhiksha you can give. Alms you can give. But dana means dana has to be given, to be more precise, Bhagavatam says actually. Dana can be given only to those who have controlled their mind. In other words, only to Brahmanas it can be given. It's given like that. So how, but in Kali Yuga we tend to use the word dana very liberally. I'm just doing dana. So again, terms and conditions apply. Krishna qualifies each one of them. That doesn't mean we should not give things to the people who are needy. We have to. But what we give, how much to give, who to give, when to give, Kala Desha Patra has to be observed. And depending on all those considerations, your dana or charity is said to be in Sattva Guna, Rajoguna or Tamoguna. You can even do charity in Tamoguna. Politicians give out things for free. Do you really think out of their heart they are giving? No. Do you really think they are actually giving it to the needy? No. Why are they giving for? For social media. Correct? So that doesn't come under charity. That comes under mode of passion and ignorance. Understand? Comes under Rajoguna, Tamoguna, like that. Whereas there may be people who are really needy. And somebody who is qualified to get that. Because if you are going to give, let's say, money to someone and they are going to take that money and put it for some abominable use, now what are you going to do? In your side, you think I have done dana, but where did that dana end up as? First of all, that dana didn't purify you because you gave it to the wrong guy. And the person may actually use that for wrong purpose. That will entangle him. It will affect other people with whom he had actually perpetrated. And then rather than purifying us, it binds us more. Do you understand? Dangerous. So that's why who we give charity, what we give, Kala Desha Patra. What time, what place, and to what person we give matters. There is a place for sentiment. A sentiment we show only for Radha Gopinath. Everywhere else we have to be careful what we do. Because intention may be correct. But ignorance is no excuse for getting punished. So we have to be very, very careful. Religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity. All of this. So here he is giving her a lifestyle, saying, you continue to do this. Supreme Lord is soon going to appear in your home. O blessed princess, one who is praiseworthy. O Swayambhu Manu's daughter, do not lose your heart. You are a very exalted personality, and soon the Supreme Lord is going to appear as your son. So this is how Kadama Muni is assuring her. I'll just finish with this line. Prabhupada is saying, you have to factually engage. So Kadama Muni advised his wife, you have to factually engage in devotional service with austerity and penance, following the religious principles and giving charity. Then the Supreme Lord will be pleased with you and he will come as your son. I'll finish here. Any questions or comments? Mm-hmm.
Just going by the word-to-word translation. Vrita Vrata Ashi, you are undertaking sacred vows. Just wondering, what are those sacred vows that she is able to be under? And under the word Dravina, of money, Prabhupada translates the of money. I'm not sure if she's able to take any riches to hermitage in the forest. Does Dravina necessarily mean only money, or it could be wealth or whatever is in her possession, limited possession?
Dravina is whatever that is in her possession. Physical things. It can be anything. It can be wealth. We call money. In those days there is no money. Money got introduced much later. Prabhupada, when he translates it to make us understand in our current context actually. Okay, so here money refers to anything that is valuable. Okay, now Prabhupada also says in one place, in those days when a daughter gets married,